made that look a lot cooler in Smash. So Netflix's adaptation of the hit video game series Castlevania. Is it worth watching? Hell yes! My god, season 4 just finally dropped, and honestly, stealth dropped because I didn't see any advertisements for it, and it got announced like a month prior that it was getting released. But this is the final season, which I didn't know until I sat down to watch it, for this series, and it wraps up with 4 seasons, but don't really let that fool you because the first couple seasons were a little shorter, so it's only actually 32 episodes, and that's the entirety of the series. So it's not super short, but it's a little longer, so you get some substance to it, and boy is it a ride. It has some serious highs, some serious lows, and just everything in between. This show made me feel absolute despair at times, and some of the most uplifting, like motivational moments too. It's super cool. The animation is clean. The music, Castlevania, honestly, I would argue Castlevania is most known for the music, at least personally. It is just as good. It honestly does a ton of callbacks throughout the entire series from themes you'll know if you've played the games, especially the older games. I definitely feel like this really brought the spirit of the retro styled games. So if you're a fan of those, I highly recommend this show. It is 100% worth your time. It's got the grit and gore, the just wholesomeness between interactions of characters, and just it is a roller coaster of emotions. So essentially this adaptation loosely follows the events of Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, which honestly was one of the ones I probably played the most, so I'm a little bit biased to say the least. But really, as far as plots go in a Castlevania game, it's really Dracula is back, kill Dracula, or stop him from being brought back. And there's a lot of like self-aware jokes in this show that are kind of like, you probably said while playing the games if you did. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people got into the games because of this show, or vice versa, because they go hand in hand. But it's really cool because Castlevania 3 had a larger cast rather than just one of the Belmonts or a different character that it follows. It had numerous characters, so in this it follows, much like the game, Trevor Belmont, Sypha, whatever, Alucard, and Germain, which it's really cool because as those playable characters from the game and seeing them fleshed out here, it's really neat to see, kind of like how in a video game where you picture, or even a manga, picturing how something would play out in a more like fluid design rather than like side scroll, like just bashing like that. It's cool because there's just the dynamic angles, and you can really feel when the animators just like blew the whole load. The whole budget went into a single episode, because some of these fights, my god, man, that is so clean. They just have the panning angles with everybody just doing all these different over-the-top moves, and it is just so cool to look at, especially towards the end of season 4. My god, they don't even like, it's not even like it's like kind of quality and then the end blows everything on it. It just is really good, and then the ends of the seasons just go fucking balls deep and just go so hard on this amazing look. I swear to god, watch the entire series just for that final fight. It is so cool, and honestly, I'm not spoiling anything, but the final like fight of this entire show didn't exactly go how I thought it would based on the games, but personally, one of the bosses, I got my shit pushed in so much, and I'll put a timestamp because I just want to say what this fight is for like 20 seconds, but starting now, spoiler alert. So the final boss of this show is Death. And honestly, I got wrecked so many times, but it's one of the most engaging fights too in all the Castlevania games is fighting Death. I will never forgive some of the just absolute cheap fucking moves that he can have across all these games. But just, oh my god, this
Death, and You people all took my treasure.
That's the end of the spoiler section. Alright, so you probably skipped here if you didn't want to see that. If you did, whatever. Hopefully that doesn't ruin too much for you, but that was really cool. I genuinely, just for that, please watch this show. But otherwise, there's so many characters. Even the non-main characters, this follows multiple perspectives, so there's multiple storylines that actually don't really link up entirely. Maybe once or twice, but not for the grand scheme of things, which is a plus or a minus depending on where you stand. So there's a whole front of like a war between vampires and humans, and then there's Alucard, and then there's Trevor Belmont, and like all have their stories and they intermingle here and there, but they don't really affect each other to any major extent for the most part that I can remember from the earlier seasons. So it's a little disjointed, but it's not like a bad disjointed. It's just it's just world building and things going on. So I can respect that. So yeah, this series is metal as hell. What more can I ask for? The one gripe I will say about it is it does have some pacing issues regarding like it slowing down to kind of explain and like build up the next set piece. And while that's happening, it's just like, all right, move a little bit, but it doesn't last too long. And the highs are absolutely worth the payoff, but it is some stuff that kind of feels like it could cut a little bit of it off and it wouldn't affect it too much. So aside from that, I really have no complaints about this show. I highly recommend it. Seriously, go check this out if you have any interest or you are on the fence at all for checking this out. Go play some of the older games. I haven't played the newer, like the 3D ones. I played like all of the ones on the Anniversary Collection, so like the original like 8 of them. And Jesus Christ, people that play like Dark Souls and everything, like I respect that, but this game will crush your will to live, much like a lot of points in this show. But I mean like absolutely, like you die, you restart the entire level. Like it is just soul crushing difficulty. And nah, I don't ever want to experience that again. That is a dark point in my life. But yeah, I was just super excited to see this just kind of drop out of the blue. So maybe if I can get a couple people into it that haven't experienced it yet, that'd be pretty cool. Other than that, that's all I really had to talk about for today. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Subscribe if you're an absolutely sexy individual. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!